Good afternoon and welcome to this afternoon's Glenorchy City Council meeting for Monday the 24th of November 2025. My name is Sue Hickey and I'm the Mayor of the City and Chairperson for this afternoon's meeting. Glenorchy City Council acknowledges the Muwinina people as the traditional owners of this land. We recognise the Tasmanian Aboriginal people as the original owners and continuing custodians of the land, sky and country and waters of this island, Lutruwita. We pay our respect to Aboriginal elders past and present. We commit to working in a way that welcomes and respects all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Joining me here in Chambers today is, in no particular order, Alderman Justin Stringer, Councillor Molly Kendall, Alderman Tim Marks, our Deputy, Alderman Russell Yaxley, our CEO, Emilio Reali, Alderman Stephen King, Alderman Stuart Slade, Alderman Josh Cockshut, and Alderman Shane Alderton. Before we open our agenda, I take this opportunity to make a statement about workplace health and safety. Glenorchy City Council takes workplace health and safety seriously, and this includes physical and psychological safety. We have a duty of care to ensure that a safe workplace is provided for our employees, elected members, contractors, volunteers and members of the public who may be present at Council's workplaces. Council meetings form part of the Council's workplace, and it is expected that everyone who attends Council meetings will behave in a polite and respectful manner. Council has endorsed a statement of intent setting out how we as elected members have agreed to conduct ourselves in representing the people of Glenorchy. In accordance with this, any disagreement should be expressed respectfully, remembering both during debate and in decision making we are elected to represent and serve the people of Glenorchy and to make our city the best it can be. Finally, I note that the open section of this meeting is being live streamed and on audio-visual recording of the meeting will occur in accordance with Council's recording of Council meetings policy. Members of the public are not permitted to make audio or visual recordings of Council meetings. We have 12 items on the agenda this afternoon, and agenda item number 1 is apologies. We have received an apology from Alderman Peter Riddler this afternoon. Can I have someone move to confirm the minutes of the meeting? Thank you. So we have Alderman Slade and we have Alderman Cockshut. Would you like to?
No, I'm talking about the previous meeting, Mayor. I believe they were true and accurate record. I've got nothing else to say about them.
Alderman Cockshut, do you wish to
No.
Any discussion? No? I'll put that motion to the vote. All those in favour? It's carried unanimously. Thank you. Now I have announcements from the Chair. Now I suggest you all get comfortable because there's a bit of good news in here. Council's financial position. It is with great pride I would like to announce that this week Glenorchy City Council will pay off the last of its debt, returning to a debt-free fiscal position. I'm sure there's many a council who'd love to be able to make that statement. This is a huge achievement for this council, having taken years of commitment and hard work to achieve. Not only are we debt-free, but we remain one of the lowest rating city councils in Tasmania, and we are continuing to deliver services and facilities our council needs. Being in the black gives our council a significant advantage by being better able to strategically plan our objectives and investments on behalf of the community. I would like to acknowledge the hard work of the Glenorchy Council staff for delivering this important strategic goal. Now, the GCC, which is the Hobart City Council Notice of Motion, amalgamation discussions with Glenorchy City Council. You may have seen in the media that Hobart City Council is debating a notice of motion proposing the start of discussions with Glenorchy City Council to pursue an amalgamation at their meeting this evening. We welcome any initiatives that are beneficial to ratepayers in the long term and have agreed a good place to start is by having a conversation. We believe that all local governments need to find ways to work together to achieve wins that benefit larger percentages of the population, not just the people who happen to live on either side of a road that separates two councils. Whether this is amalgamation or just a greater emphasis on regional goals and more determined commitment to work collectively is really a matter for you, the public. But Glenorchy City Council will always stand up for improved decision making and removing barriers for efficiencies and outcomes, not putting more of them in the way. We look forward to hearing the outcomes from this debate at the City of Hobart Council meeting. Glenorchy War Memorial Pool. Monthly updates on the pool repair project are now included in the finance report to Council. This month's update is significant progress has been made on the Glenorchy War Memorial Pool upgrade, with approximately 35% of the contract works completed as of 31st of October 2025. Works remain on schedule for completion within the financial year, with 1.181 million spent against a total project budget of 6.5 million. The Glenorchy Youth Hub. A grant request for $1 million operational funding over 5 years has been submitted to the Tasmania Community Fund. We have been informed that the submission has progressed to the next round and we should have an outcome by mid-December. Concept plans for redevelopment of the ground floor of the Terry Street building to accommodate the Youth Hub have been drafted and going out for costings. Council will soon commence work on redeveloping the Chamber forecourt to create more permanent youth engagement space to complement the indoor hub space. Now, the draft waste management strategy review, the Glenorchy Waste and Resource Recovery Strategy of 2025 has been developed to guide waste management and resource recovery planning in Glenorchy for the next 5 years. Council is seeking feedback from the Glenorchy community about this strategy. The feedback will be used to develop a recommendation to elected members to formally adopt this strategy. We'd like to hear your thoughts about the strategy and your priorities for improving waste management. For more information, go to Council's Let's Talk Glenorchy page. That's www.letstalk.gcc.tas.gov.au and complete a short survey. The survey will be open for 2 weeks. Rabbit baiting at KG5. Rabbit baiting program at KG5 moved to the final phase last week with the laying of carrots containing pindone poison. The community were notified again through Facebook and our website, and local vets have been notified. Council staff are monitoring the area for deceased rabbits and removing them as soon as possible. However, if members of the public find deceased rabbits on their property, please put on rubber gloves and dispose of them, if you are up to it, in your FOGO or general waste rubbish bin. If you're not, please contact the Council. Further information on this baiting program is available on the Council's webpage, which is quite a long one, www.gcc.tas.gov.au/rabbit-baiting-program/. The Moona CBD upgrades. The Moona CBD is set for an upgrade with a proposal to install parklets along the main road. This will require moving the bus stops in this area. Consultation trialling the parklets and the CBD strip will commence with affected businesses in the coming weeks. The Chambers mural. Work has started on our new public mural on the side of the Chambers. The wall has now been prepped and the artists will start their work next week. This will bring fresh colour and creativity to the heart of the city, particularly the bus mall. The project will celebrate the natural beauty of Glenorchy, from our mountain views and leafy reserves to our diverse wildlife and waterways. To ensure the mural can be completed safely and efficiently, the surrounding area will be fenced off during the works. Pedestrians and bus mall users are encouraged to follow the on-site signage and take extra care when moving through the area. The mural holds special meaning for Glenorchy community as it is being created as per a suggestion from the late elected member Jan Dunsby, who was a tireless advocate for the city. Forgotten Australians Memorial. Last Wednesday, Council joined Relationships Australia Tasmania to officially open a new reflection space at Tolosa Park, recognising forgotten Australians. Forgotten Australians are survivors among the estimated 500,000 children who were placed in institutional or out-of-home care across Australia during the 20th century. The commemoration marked the 16th anniversary of the National Apology to the Forgotten Australians and former child migrants, and included the unveiling of a memorial dedicated to the Forgotten Australians, as well as a special acknowledgement of long-term advocate David Henderson. That's him in the front there on the picture. Today was an opportunity to honour the strength and resilience of the Forgotten Australians, many of whom endured unimaginable hardship. It was an honour to be involved in this event and provide a special place for people to visit and reflect on the past and look forward to a brighter future. Now, the last update, which is the Royal Agricultural Society of Tasmania. Last Monday, Council went off-site for a workshop to visit the showgrounds and hear about and see firsthand the progress that has been made on the major development Rust are undertaking. It's pretty amazing. Is that the only photo we've got? Really? I should have given you my phone. We're all impressed with the scale of the development. It's huge, absolutely huge, and it's only 1/3 of what's going to be developed. We're all very impressed and look forward to it opening hopefully in the latter half of 2026. The redeveloped site will not only provide a fit-for-purpose venue for agricultural activities, but a multi-purpose space for the broader community that includes large exhibition and open spaces and a 1,500-seat arena. And now onto the festive season. The Christmas and holiday season is almost upon us and our city decorations are up. Glenorchy will celebrate the festive season with a number of carol events supported by the Council's Carols Grants program, which helps local organisations deliver inclusive, family-friendly carols events that bring the community together. Variety will again hold their major carols event at Tolosa Park on the 22nd of December. This year they will be holding a smaller event on Friday the 21st of December in the early evening to cater for young families who may not want to stay out late for the main event. But we do suggest anyone going get there earlier than later, because sometimes there can be a bit of a block on that road. Other events supported by the grants program include intercultural carols at the Glenorchy Primary School on the 6th of December, multicultural Christmas carols at St Teresa's Catholic School, Moona, on the 12th of December, HMA Christmas celebrations. Can I just ask what HMA is? Historic Military Association?
No, that's the Hobart Malayali Association.
Thank you.
Malaysian.
Thank you. And carols at Moona Arts Centre on the 13th of December, and the Glenorchy Brass Band Community Carols at the Claremont RSL on the 14th of December, so that should be a good one too. In addition, this year we are trialling roving carolers through the city to bring some festive cheer. This will include Silvertones a cappella group on the 9th, 11th and 12th of December, and the Choir of High Hopes on the 2nd of December. Details of all the Christmas carols events funded by Council can also be found on our website. The AGM, December the 1st. Next Monday, Council will hold its AGM, Annual General Meeting, at 6 p.m, where we will present our annual report to the community. This year we are trialling a different format that will include presentations from all departments on their achievements in the 2025-26 year. I encourage you to join us in chambers or online to hear about all the good work our staff have been doing to make Glenorchy a better place to work, live and play. Phew. Now, I'll ask anyone, does anyone have pecuniary interest in any item on tonight's agenda? No? Item 5 is response to previous public questions taken on notice, and they are recorded. Sorry?
There weren't any.
Oh, there weren't any, that's why I can't find them then. And now we're moving on to public question time. The council meeting is a formal meeting of the elected members elected by the Glenorchy community and is chaired by the mayor. Public question time is an opportunity in the formal meeting for the public to ask questions of their elected council representatives about matters that affect ratepayers and citizens. In accordance with Regulation 31(2) and 3, public question time, Local Government Meeting Procedures Regulations 2025, Council will allocate up to 15 minutes during each council meeting to invite members of the public to ask questions relating to the activities of council. The following rules and procedures apply to question time. Questions must relate to the activities of council. Members of the public are to announce their name and residential address before asking a question, which will all be recorded in the minutes. Questions are to be put succinctly and in the form of a question, not a comment. Questions must not be inflammatory, abusive, defamatory, contain a personal attack or otherwise breach any rules of the meeting which have been explained by the chairperson, and the chairperson may limit the number of questions asked by each member of the public. The chairperson will decide in order which questions are to be asked and may rotate the order between different members of the public if individuals have more than one question to ask. The chairperson may, in their absolute discretion, refuse to answer a question if the chairperson deems that it is inappropriate or does not comply with these rules. B, take a question on notice, in which case the answer will be provided in writing prior to the next council meeting and included in the agenda for the next council meeting. 8, if a question is taken on notice, the chairperson may request that the member of the public submit their question in writing and may refuse to provide a response if the question is not provided as requested. 9, 15 minutes allocated for public question time may be extended at the discretion of the chairperson. Okay, we did receive a question on Tuesday the 21st from Dr. Patrick Maneely from Glenorchy, and it's not actually one question, there's a lot of questions and they've all got the answers and they're in our agenda. We got one on 16th of November from Angela Sturg, and all of the answers to her questions are also included in the agenda. And then I'd like to see if there's any member of the community who would like to ask a question tonight. What? Mr. Steenbergen. I can't believe it. You don't want to ask a question? Okay, who would like to go next? Thank you very much, Ms. Bryan.
Janice Bryan, England Avenue, Montrose. In agenda item 8.3, Council's key commitment on gambling harm states supporting measures that reduce gambling-related risk and improve the safety and well-being of the community. Sport is meant to be a healthy activity for everyone, but what has happened to Council's commitment on child abuse and gambling harm when it allows their once safe sporting facilities attended by children to form partnerships with sports betting platforms and be infiltrated by the gambling industry that grooms young people into a lifetime of addiction that will destroy their life and tells them they offer a quick 60-second sign up to gamble on their phones. What is the purpose for which the Glenorchy Knights Sporting Club has over 13 closed group page that specifically states youth players between 13 and 17 years of age are accepted as members? And information on this page is for members only, must not be shared externally without permission from the page administrator. How can this be acceptable and determined safe when it lacks transparency? The Glenorchy Knights Club also states flashscore.com offers Glenorchy Knights live score and odds comparison. Glenorchy Knights Scores service is real-time, updating live. You can follow 1,000 plus football competitions. The next question, what action has the council taken about the gambling-related activities when the 5-year lease for the premises obtained under right to information and signed on the 25th of May 2023 states in clause R, page 9, must not allow gambling to occur on or off the premises, the occurrence of which will amount to a fundamental breach of this lease?
Thank you. Are you able to handle that one?
Mayor, we might have to take that on notice and get to it to see if there is an actual breach.
I'll email the question so that you've got the background
That'd be great.
information. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Crowe, do you have a question?
Well, Crew Legal Place, Glenorchy. I've been approached by a group of residents who are very concerned about Golden Years Club, and I did indicate that I'd asked the question, and I got an answer to the question with regard to valuation, a commercial valuation by a commercial real estate firm. And people have looked and they have nothings in the public domain. So in the spirit of transparency, would we be able to get access to those commercial valuations?
Just check and see.
Mayor, I might hand over to our director.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Mark. They will be made available ultimately, but at the moment we're still in a commercial negotiation process. So I guess we don't want to undermine that process by publicly putting those out there right now, but certainly council will be committed to provide it at the conclusion of that.
And one of the other questions they asked was for the entire footprint. Would you list each particular property and the valuation for each property?
Yes. The documents that we have received I guess some of them are single documents, but they do break them up. Yes.
Sure. And if you just allow me some leeway here, you didn't mention my event, which is the Taste of Glenorchy.
Yes.
That's, if I could just
Please.
enlighten.
Yeah.
So that's on the 6th of December, that's Saturday the 6th of December at the Montrose Bay Yacht Club. There's going to be a live band called the Royal Turks. They play 70s, 80s and 90s music. Food stalls from around the globe. And what else do we have? Oh, free face painting for kids, free balloon artists, Santa Claus. And we will be looking after some kids who probably won't get a present for Christmas. So we'll have a group of about 20 to 30 of them coming along. The other important thing that I would like to talk about is my hate crimes petition, where the matter, and it was a Glenorchy resident, went to court last week. And Justice Shanahan, because that passed the House of Assembly on the 11th of September, and Chief Justice Shanahan handed down a sentence in accordance with what we asked for in the petition, and that's precedent-setting matter. And it's something that we could do in council, is give information to the public as to how they report matters in the future, and one of them being to the anti-discrimination, the Office of the Anti-Discrimination Commissioner. I have a really well thought out form that's very easy to fill in, because most migrants don't like going to the police because they're very nervous of the police and they're very nervous of their immigration status. So this might be a better option for them. If council could just pass that information along to the community.
Yes, I'll ask the director, Tracy, to talk to you, if that's okay.
Thanks.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Crew. Right, item 7 is petitions addressing council meetings.
No,
There are none. Okay, move on to activities of the mayor. Who would like to move this one? Thank you very much, Alderman Marks. Seconder, please. Thank you very much, Alderman Stringer. Okay, would you like to open debate?
Just like to say that the activities, I know of most of them because I've been to most of them, that you've been very, very busy this month and keeping up with all the information that will help us going forward in the future.
Thank you. Yes, and thank you to anyone else who has represented me. I know a few of you have had to go to functions where there have been conflicts, and I think it's really important that we all go to as many of these as we possibly can to support the community. Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So on the 27th of October, you
met with the Honourable Kerry Vincent, MLC for Minister for Transport and Infrastructure, Local Government Housing and Planning. Are you able to share anything with the council in regards to what was discussed at that meeting?
Yes, I may defer to the CEO for a little bit of a prompt here and there, but basically, Minister Vincent's been going around every local council, just seeing what their situation is, talking to them if they need, how we can work better with the government. So we're he's only been the Minister for Local Government for a short time, but I think we were one of the last to get to. Yes, and he also spoke at the recent Legat conference, and he's very committed to trying to improve the sector and to make sure that we get the assistance and respect that we need as a layer of government. Anything else to add?
Mary, you did ask a few questions around housing availability and what the council was doing. We explained our land disposal strategy that we've got for underutilised land. We had a bit of a discussion about some local government reform, councillor numbers and allowances. And I think Minister Vincent was open to receiving any other feedback in relation to his portfolio. Obviously, we mentioned the transport situation and the transit corridor study that we're undertaking. He was pretty interested in how that was going and what were the next steps, and hopefully that will result in some densification along the corridor.
No, I thank you for your insight into the conversation.
And I think we should consider ourselves lucky that we've got a minister that really understands local government, and he was a high achiever at Royal Council. Got lots of good things going. So he's very hardworking and very supportive of us, which is a nice change. Any further questions? Yes, thank you, Councillor Kendall.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, a busy month for you. I was curious about your trip up to Collinsvale to have a look at the roads. Every time I go up there, I worry about their roads, and I just wonder, I think you met with some residents, if it's something that we can help with. I know state government is responsible for some roads, we're responsible for others, but were we able to help?
Well, basically the resident came and visited me, and it is a bit above my pay grade. So whilst I didn't get to go to the trip to Collinsvale, our CEO did. And
Yes, Mayor, I actually met the resident on site with our one of our engineering staff, and that particular section of road, it was Mount Hull Road. There was some works already scheduled to be undertaken, a little bit of road widening and a bit of retaining and some guardrail on a corner. And we took the resident on a bit of a site tour of where we've already scoped up the works, and he was quite happy to see that we had a plan in place. So I think that work is going to be undertaken early in the new year. I think we're out back in this financial year.
That's great, thanks.
any other questions? No? So do you want to sum up, Alderman Marks? Okay, in that case, I'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, say aye. Carried unanimously. Item 8.2 is disposal of council land at part of 318 Main Road, Glenorchy, also known as the hill behind Edie Street Reserve. Can I have someone to move this recommendation, please? Thank you, Councillor Kendall. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Alderman Marks. Would you like to start debate, Councillor Kendall?
Yeah, just for context, this is the land on the hill up on Edie Street, and it's a discussion about whether we dispose of that land in a partnership with Homes Tasmania to provide some affordable housing on the site. Happy to open it for discussion.
Thank you. Thank you, Alderman King.
Thank you, Mayor. This has been a long time coming, and we're open to try and create more, assist in creating more housing for the community, and this is a great opportunity to do so, and take away a piece of land that in essence costs us money to maintain and has little use. It has some use, but has little use, and I think this is a greater use for the community than what it currently has. So I'm certainly in support of this.
Thank you. Alderman Alston.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, while I'm totally supportive of social housing
and I don't have a problem with what we intend to do with this land. I do have several concerns and have several questions I would like to ask of council. So first of all, I'm all for social housing, but I'm also all for council getting the best value in return for land that we choose to sell for social housing. On this occasion, going through the council papers over the weekend, I highlighted some concerns that we have from Optian, I hope I pronounced that correctly. So Homes Tasmania, who are very interested in party and purchasing this land, have gone and got a valuation report for $450,000, suggesting that between $400,000 and $500,000 is the saleable value of this land. And I think we've settled around $450,000. What concerns me is, as a council, we did not go and get our own valuation report. I cannot find it anywhere in the papers. I cannot even see for the life of me the Officer of the Value General's valuation on this land. I just have concerns as a council why we haven't got a second opinion on the value of this land, and my concerns are we selling this land for under its value at the detriment of the ratepayers? So I'm just wondering if somebody can answer those questions, please.
I'm sure we can. Yes, Alderman Cockshott.
Point 4, that's attachment number 2, has been endorsed by the Officer of the Valuer General.
It's in the report too, though.
That's what I read.
Didn't actually see a hard copy of the like, you know, everyone else gets a valuation on their property. That's the sort of thing that was missing. The other question I raise is $50,000 towards the construction of a footway. Are we convinced that it will cost $50,000 and no more? I would rather see the wording of $50,000 removed, and that Housing Tasmania or Homes Tasmania contribute the full cost towards the construction of a footway. That would sit better than me, rather than us potentially being left to fund any shortfall in the cost of a footway.
Through the CEO, Director Luke Shrew would like to answer that one.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, I guess on both points, so with regards to the valuation, so it is an independent valuation that's been provided by a commercial valuer. So they obviously have legislation and rules to follow. You can't direct a valuer to provide you with a valuation that's amenable to you. They will provide a neutral valuation. The agreement, as per previous reports, was that we were pursuing it on the basis of a valuation that's endorsed by the Valuer General. So the Office of the Valuer General has provided that endorsement, that they too have reviewed it and see it as a fair and correct valuation. With regards to the footway, based on some previous projects that we've done recently, as well as some standard rates that we can ascertain, $50,000 appears to be about the amount we expect the pathway to cost. That's based on a concrete pathway with a handrail down one side. The exact alignment and length and everything of the pathway is yet to be determined, because that has to be done through the detailed design process of the broader development. So the exact cost can't be known, but we're quite confident that $50,000 is a good approximation of the likely cost. It would be putting Homes Tasmania in a very difficult position just to say you'll just pay whatever it is, because that just leaves them with an open commitment to pay something. So we do need a firm figure. Keeping in mind, as you said, we want to get good value for money. So we have now secured the sale of the property for the full commercial valuation, the sale of the property including granting of a right of a public pedestrian footway easement, and a $50,000 contribution towards constructing that pathway. So that's pretty significant value to receive for the land, as well as keeping in mind it is meeting our statement of commitment of housing to release land that's underutilised for the purpose of providing social and affordable housing. So I think it ticks all those boxes and does provide good value for money. Keeping in mind, if you put it on the open market, yes, there is a chance that you receive more than the commercial value. You might receive less as well, but you've also got a $50,000 contribution towards the footway, as well as a commitment to maintain a public right-of-way easement, which a independent purchaser would not necessarily have to provide. So keeping those factors in mind is some very good value coming back.
Can I ask, does the $50,000 cover the cost of any lighting from this footway?
It's not proposed to be lit. No.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Just to add to that, Mayor, we don't have to maintain that land anymore. We'll get rates for it as well. So there's other benefits that go with the sale of that land that ought to be considered there as well. So
I agree. I think this is a win-win for everyone because council has made a very firm commitment and a statement of intent to identify as many properties that are not adding benefit to our portfolio that we've inherited along the years. This is landlocked basically, so it has no other access other than through the existing social housing development that's there. As Alderman King said, each property will attract rates, so we have that arrangement with the state government. It does prevent us having to do all the maintenance that we've been doing for years, and best of all, it is providing homes for people.
Yep.
So
You probably save 50,000 a year in costs and maintaining
so
it.
I think it's the best possible deal that we would get for something. It wouldn't have the same commercial reality for anyone, considering it's got no access whatsoever, no driveway, and it's internal block. Anyone else like to add to that? Yes, Councillor Kendall.
Thank you. Yes, we had 3 representations and a lot of effort was put into them. There's obviously a lot of love for that green space and that hill. I agree with the council's response that there is green space quite close by. And I think in one of the representations, there was a bit of a misunderstanding about Windsor Street. Could we give some reassurance that that won't disappear as a green space completely? Because that was my understanding.
So, yeah, thank
Does
you,
that
Mayor.
mean Councillor Kendall's closed?
Sorry?
Does that mean Councillor Kendall's closed the?
Debate?
No, it's a question.
Was it a question? Oh,
So it is correct that is being retained. I believe the comment's been picked up because the play space strategy notes that when that playground reaches end of life, that it's programmed not to be renewed, but it's quite a clear commitment within the strategy, which was when we did the strategy, that any of those would be retained as open space, and that's certainly the proposal. So it'll be landscaped, plant some trees, put some seats in there.
And one final question, thanks through you, Mayor, was about the plovers that, there was concern about the nesting behaviour of the gorgeous little plovers who are all nesting at the moment, so very close to everyone's heart with their little fluffy fluff balls around the place. In terms of putting a provision on that land, because I imagine that it's going to be nesting season when they're going to be wanting to start construction, what is my question? How does council capture that knowledge so that when development applications come in, there can be provisions put around the protection of if there's plovers nesting at that time?
Yeah, look, it'd depend on whether it comes up through the planning scheme as an actual matter which is regulated. If it's not, a council still has the option to provide an advice clause around matters like that, which is, I guess, just the heads up to a developer to do the right thing. It is a tricky situation, as you know. Plovers are commonly in all of our parks and sports fields. They love big grassy open spaces. So they certainly are there, as they are amongst a lot of our green open spaces. But yeah, look, until it comes up in a DA, I'm not sure that it would hit a firm requirement under the planning process. But if not, I'm quite happy to suggest at least an advice clause to alert the developer of that, to try to do the right thing.
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a very good point. Anyone else like to? Yes?
I just like to say, Mayor, that not enough houses in Tasmania is just, everybody's talking about it all tiers of government. I just think it's really good and it's progressive of a council who's committed to finding these patches of land and by GEA, I know how long that one's been sitting there, and able to use this for putting a roof over somebody's head. And I think we should think about that a little bit more, that just how hard that is at the present moment. So I'm pleased about that. I'm pleased that it's been done through a proper governance structure with evaluation and the contribution towards the footway. And I think everybody should have a house. It may not suit your style of housing or whatever, but a house is a house, and we need more of them in the city of Glenorchy. I support that.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy.
Certainly agree with the comments from Alderman Slade around having housing, and this has been a process to get this land released, and I think that it's worked in with our statement on housing, and so I'm pleased to see it come to guess, this end of this stage. And also keeping the footway coming through the block. I think that was an important connection. It's a natural kind of connection. So I'm pleased to see that there. I'm a little bit concerned about no lighting, obviously, around that area, but that's something that I guess gets considered at a future date. My only question was just, are we only required to have one independent valuation? Is that part of the requirement, just to have the one, not multiple?
It is.
As like, you know, when you go and buy a fridge, you're going to get 2 quotes. You know what I mean? Just to make, you know, so I just wondered if that was part of the process.
That is all that's required under our policy, and that's all that's being proposed. There have been instances where, if there is, I guess, debate around evaluation, where we've obtained multiple, but I guess in this instance, it was based around the Office of the Valuer General also confirming, which is one of Homes Tasmania's processes to make sure the Office of the Valuer General is happy with it as well. So.
Cool. That's great. Okay. That's good. I think more from me.
Thank you. Thank you. A question?
Yeah, just a follow-up question. So through you, Mayor Luke, in regards to, I've just reread the Office of Valuation endorsement. They did no inspection of the property whatsoever to get a true indication. They've just taken on board the recommendation of one independent private valuation. So that's where I raised my initial concerns from. Had I seen the slip of paper like we all get saying that XY property is valued at this, but that's more the thing I was looking for here. To get a better understanding of if we're selling the property for a fair and reasonable price, not just a letter from the Valuer General's manager stating that they endorse the valuation of Optimum Property Group without physically even looking at the property to gain some scope.
Look, if it gives you some comfort, the valuations you're referring to in terms of receiving your notice that says Valuer General says your property is based on a desktop assessment, 99 times out of 100. So this is an actual full valuation where a independent valuer has gone to the property, researched the market, looked at comparable properties and done a detailed report on that. So quite a lot more rigor than the standard notice, which just tells you.
I get that, Luke, but the point I'm trying to make is if there was a second valuation that came back and say hypothetically 550, and the Office of the Valuer General then had 2 valuations, one at 550 and one at 450, do we have any idea what they would then determine as the acceptable value of the property?
I couldn't tell you what they would determine that to be.
Yeah, so I mean, they've made the determination based on a single valuation, whereas had they had multiple valuations, they may have come up with a different determination.
But if it gives you any more comfort, when this proposal first was initiated, the Valuer General proposed a valuation of $450,000 on the property. It was out of time. They have a 3-month time limit on them. So they went and sought their own independent valuation, which came back with the same figure. So that may give you some additional comfort, perhaps.
Okay, thank you.
And also it's sort of like one government entity trading with another government entity. So, all right, I'm going to put that to the vote. Oh, sorry, Molly.
Yeah, just to close, I think there's a lot of pride around the table, and I think we should be proud of this moment because, you know, loss of green space, which it is always something to weigh up really carefully, but the ability to create 68 new dwellings for, 68 new families is a really special thing. So, and what they pay for it will just affect the affordability of what they can create there. So I'm really happy we're going ahead with this and, well, hopefully it passes the vote and happy to close.
Thank you. That's a very good summation. I'm going to put this to the vote. All those in favour? Okay, so we've got Alderman Stringer, Councillor Kendall, Alderman Marks, the Deputy, the Mayor, we've got Alderman King, Alderman Slade and Alderman Cockshut. For and against?
Abstaining, Mayor.
You're abstaining, okay. All right, so we have Alderman abstaining, so it's carried. I'm just going to get to the next one. And the next one is 8.3, is that correct?
Yep,
Statement.
page 102, yep.
Yeah. Statement of commitment on gambling harm reduction.
Mayor, I have I'd like to move a motion to amend the current motion.
Yes.
So it would be to alter the statement to remove the partner section from the statement.
So, righto, so you're moving it.
I'll second that, Nick.
Yes. Okay, so we have a seconder, and I'm going to put that to the vote.
What lines up, where's the partner debate?
You can debate it, yes. It's in the statement, it's the partner section.
The statement itself, where it says Glenorchy City Council will, and it talks about advocating, partnering and engaging, I'd like to remove the partner section.
And just for point of people watching online, partner with community, gambling reform organisations and service providers to ensure support services are adequately funded, visible and accessible in our city. So it's fairly important. Anyone want to talk about this?
Yes,
Anyone want to
I want to speak to it, yeah, because I'd like to know his rationale.
Yeah. So in moving this motion to amend, in our annual plan for this year, action item 4.1.3.1 says to advocate for the reduction of harm caused to our community by gambling machines in our city and seek opportunities to support council's statement on commitment on gambling, including contributing to state government policy development. Our community strategy of 21 to 2030, the objective 13 says that we will work with the community and other stakeholders to progress the council statement of commitment to gambling and to reduce the harmful effects of gambling to individual families and the broader community. Our annual action plan 4.1.3.1 talks about being an advocate only, and the community strategy talks about working with, and this should be reflected in the statement. As a council, we certainly have a mouthpiece in many areas, but to partner in this area is an overreach and something that council hasn't endorsed in the strategic plan, annual plan, or the community strategy. As an advocate, we can say something, and to work with, we can play our role, but there are many degrees of separations away from being a partner. If I work for someone, my responsibility is for that role and what I can do. If I'm a partner, I've brought in, my risks and goals are much different, and I need to bring an equal share of the business, and we are not partners in this. I don't believe that we are partners, and our strategy doesn't call for that. So we must be really careful in what we're committing to in a partnership. In a partnership, there's a level of expectation from those that we partner with, that we bring and deliver equal investment, equal effort, equal resource, equal time, and delivering equal outcomes. I don't think council is able to deliver this based on our annual action plan and the community strategy, and we are also limited in our ability in this area. I'm comfortable to advocate and engage to work with, but at a local government level, our ability to partner in this area is overreach, and we will require energy, resources and time that is better used on what we can influence, not partnering that means so much more. I believe that the partner section should be removed. The advocate section, although is difficult to manage as there's many items that are out of our control and can change, which would then cause the statement to actually be out of date, I'm okay with that and comfortable with it as it stands now. And the engage section, I'm happy to share and distribute that type of information. But the partner isn't in line with our council plan, strategy, actions or ability. So they're my reasons for my amendment.
Okay, any further discussion? Thank you, Alderman Sloan.
I won't be supporting the amendment, Mayor, on the basis that this is about interpretation, and I believe our plans, our action plans and all that actually do incorporate involvement in this area. Every council does in relation to, in particular, the community. There's some form of a partnership. It may be just a gentle foot on the ground. It may be the sleeves rolled up and full on. But at the end of the day, there is some aspect, and in particular something as important as for our community, there's got to be some form. And the heading is partnerships and service support, but it actually says that council will work with. It's not saying that council will work at 50-50 or 60-40 or 30-70 or whatever. It's actually saying council will work with. And that is the crux to this. That's why I'm supporting. And of course I want that to happen. I want council to work with community services, gambling reform organisations and support providers to ensure that services are visible, accessible and adequately funded. Researchers, government and social service networks to share data, insights and resources related to gambling harm and community impacts. We as a council have got very little data or knowledge on this. So I believe our contribution will be very, very small, but it's important that we are part of that of being involved with that. And I don't believe it will be costly to the community of our council. I think we have an absolute obligation to our community to make sure that we are involved. And as I said, it's not a 50-50, 60-40, whatever, and council will work with these different groups for the outcomes that we're hoping that will come from the intent of this document. So it's on those grounds, Mayor, I do disagree and I won't be supporting the amendment.
Thank you. Alderman Olsen.
Okay, thank you. I understand where Alderman Slade is coming from. However, advocating is a very powerful and strong tool. And all the things listed in here in partnership and service support, we can do that through advocating. We can advocate for community services. We can advocate for gambling reform. We can advocate for support providers to ensure services are visible. And we can advocate for accessibility and adequate funding. We don't need a partnership. We can achieve all this through advocacy.
Okay. Thank you, Alderman King.
Thank you. I agree and understand the direction the Deputy Mayor's come from about partnerships in business, etc. But I understand this meaning we are partnering with government services and anyone we can to assist. There's no specifics there. There's no dollar value. There's nothing there to suggest any level of partnership other than the fact that we want. And I think the term partnership in this case is well used to suggest that we're prepared to work with people to try and overcome a difficult situation, not to change the world, but to do the best we can. And so I'm comfortable with the way that it's written, although I understand completely I believe I do where the Deputy Mayor's coming from as far as partnering is concerned in a business sense, but I don't see this particularly as in a business sense. I see this more about us supporting the community and partnering with services to do the best we can.
Anyone else like to contribute? Okay, well, I'm sorry, I do not understand where the deputy is coming from at all. We have taken this to a workshop. We were given professional advice. We were given some absolutely frightening statistics. There was a statement of gambling reduction, the commitment on gambling reduction presented to us. That was tweaked till it got to this version, which was to reduce anything that was a bit threatening to anyone. But particularly around the word partner, that is something councils have to do at every level, and we do it with housing providers, we do it with food providers, we do it with job providers, we do it with so many different groups to get better outcomes for our city. And I've got to say that it really should be a cause for solemn reflection from each and every one of us around this table, that whenever the issue of gambling losses is reported, Glenorchy is the high achiever on the Golden Mile. Millions of dollars are lost out of this city every single year. And then you can bring it down to monthly, weekly, daily, at 10 a.m. I think it is at the certain place in the morning. It's very easy, it's very accessible, and the people who are most damaged are those who can least afford it, and that damage persists through their family into domestic violence, starvation, kids not going to school. We all know, we have been educated around this council, we have been given the frightening outcomes of living with somebody who has had a gambling problem. We all know somebody who's had a gambling problem. And as I say, Glenorchy has the most pokie machines. Simple reason, we have a lot of people who obviously are not able to manage their gambling issues. This is probably, you know, we've discussed around the council that we can't reduce operating hours. We don't have those powers. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't be doing everything in our power, on our watch, to reduce gambling. And in partnering with someone like Anglicare, and they asked us to put posters on the back of the toilet doors in every public loo, or they partner with us and ask us if we'll leave on the counter brochures where you can go to get help, or we partner with them and they give us counselling, access to counselling for an affected person, or we partner with them and they come along and do a presentation to, again, talk about the social issues and harm and crime and all of the other things that come from gambling problems in our city with our very vulnerable cohort. I'm sorry, I just can't comprehend, of all the options, the advocate, partner and engage, that you've got a problem with partner, because that's just key to how a council exists. And whether it was in the 2020 annual plan or the report for this or that, the world moves on, and what was current 6 months ago may not be current now. And of course, we will continue to evolve and change our thinking as we get more and more data. We, as a workshop, which is not a decision-making part of council, but we were given the opportunity to ask the questions, to ask all the tough information. We were given all the alternatives, we were given the statistics, we were given reading to take away. Intense work has gone into this, and at the end of the day, it's a statement saying we, the Glenorchy City Council, will do what we can within our powers to inform and guide and try and prevent, through lobbying and advocacy, people being harmed by gambling if they have a problem, and ways that people who are living with someone with a gambling issue can also seek help. Like, we might partner with Hollyoak. Right, Alderman Alderton.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a question, because I understand where the Deputy Mayor's coming from, so a question to you. Hypothetically, if we're partnership with Anglicare and they come to us and say, can you pay $100,000, can the council pay $100,000 for these posters? Or can council pay $100,000 for gambling education? As a council, how do we respond?
Well, we would go quickly and have a discussion about it, look at it, either say yes we can or no we can't, or we could write a letter of begging the state government or federal government to stump up the money. We could offer in-kind support, which might be our partnership.
Isn't that advocacy though?
No.
Writing a letter is advocating, offering
partnership.
in-kind support is advocating. Partnership is a much greater, stronger word. I agree with Deputy Mayor. Partnership could tie us into a position where we then become very embarrassed as a council if we refuse $100,000 support to somebody like Anglicare to action gambling.
I'm sorry, I disagree with you, but it is your right to have that statement. I will be very embarrassed if this council knocks back this particular reform because of the semantics of a word, because that's what we're down to. Partnership doesn't mean paying half of it. It means partnering, doing things in kind, helping out with. And I said that might be just distributing free brochures printed by the organisation. And that's what we're talking about. That is purely pedantics, advocate, partnership, engage. They're not negative, nasty words. Okay, anyone else like to make any contribution? It'd be very helpful, thank you. No, would you like to sum up, Deputy?
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Well, much of what the Mayor has spoken about and other people around the table is all about advocacy, and it's all about engaging. We can advocate in what we're doing. We are engaging in the community organisations. Partnering is a step too far. We have we all know, like, that the gambling harm is, causes divisions, causes a range of things. So the reduction of this is not to make this any less. I just feel as a council, reflecting upon the strategies and reflecting upon what we have in our annual plan, because we just can't make up things and add things ad hoc on the way. We have been in our plans and in our strategies, we talk about advocating and we talk about engaging with communities and sharing that information. We do not talk about partnering. And partnering is a much more, it is a heavier thing that we have to then carry, because we have to bring something to that party. We have to be part of the journey with that. And we don't have that in our actions or strategies to be doing as council. We don't have those resources allocated. We don't have them. So to continually just add on to these things and not be looking at what we're supposed to be doing as a council is a concern, and that's why I raised it. I'm not raising it to make things not work and not to engage and not to advocate. I'm saying partnering is too far.
Okay, so let's put that to the vote. All those in favour, raise your hand. Oh, that's the deputy, and that's Alderman Alderton.
What?
All those against?
You are.
Yes, I am what?
You're scoffing at the vote. Like, it's disappointing.
Oh, it's disappointing indeed. Okay, so we have Alderman Stringer, Alderman Kendall, Alderman Marks, the Mayor, Alderman King, Alderman Slade and Alderman Cockshut. The motion is carried. Now, not carried, I mean, the motion is lost. Let's go back to the original motion. Do we need to have the same debate?
Need a mover and a second.
Yes, yes.
So I move the motion.
Okay, Alderman King and Alderman Slade. Thank you very much. Alderman King, would you like to start debate, please?
Well, I hope it's not debate, but nevertheless, approve and adopt a statement of commitment on gambling harm reduction as presented in this report. We've had a ton of back and forward with this, and I understand there's some concerns around some words. I mean, I've been looking up things around partnerships since, and it even talks about cricket partnerships and partnering with councils or city councils partnering with local schools. So it seems to me there are various terminologies around, or ways of terminologies are used. So here we are with the opportunity to work towards improving the lifestyle of people, helping people maybe get out of trouble. We're not talking about taking gambling away from people in general. We're just talking about supporting those that need support. And that's what I'm for. So thank you.
Alderman Slade.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm really proud as elected member that I'm supporting this for our city. I'm proud, having been a former police officer, police sergeant, and just seeing the ramifications that happen to people through gambling of any sort, to see their families, to see what domestic violence is really like, to see people unable to go to school, people unable to go to work. That's what the real life's like for some of these people. This is not a statement of intent in relation to that the Glenorchy City Council is going to go run around the street with a big speaker and saying that you're harm or you're a harmful person if you gamble. It's not saying that at all. It's a statement of commitment in relation to we want to be there like this council does for any other issue that affects our 50-odd thousand people. And that is, the fact is, working with other groups. I couldn't care if it's partnerships or whatever word you use. I think it's just been pedantic for words. The reality is that this council, it will work, and most times I believe there will be a very little cost to help these agencies where we can, Mayor and fellow elected members, to able to give these organisations a lot more strength in some cases some data, and in some cases the ability to be able to assist those people, and unfortunately there's only a very small percentage who are fallen down into this horrible social mess. And as a result of that, I think we can actually contribute. It is a jigsaw. I want to be a big part of that jigsaw, a big piece of that jigsaw. And amongst the different motions I've moved in council or been part of supporting one, this is a very important one to me, man. Very important one to me. I don't walk around with a sandboy packed over my head. I see what goes on in the community, and again, this is only a small percentage of people, unfortunately, that are affected. But by golly, the effects are absolutely horrific. I've already outlined those. So on that basis, I want us to be part of partnership, advocate, help, put my hand up, go forward. I don't care what you call it. I want to be part of it. And I want to get my hands dirty with staff as well to help you on the road for this. This is one of the most important things that we as a council have done in a couple of years. I don't want to say anything more than that, Mayor, but I support this motion. And it is, I think, a very positive move for this new style that this council's taking now, which is a very positive one.
Yes, thank you, Alderman Alderton.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, at the end of the day, I 100% support gambling harm reduction. However, what doesn't sit well with me, I don't support is, and I too, Alderman King, have looked up the interpretation of partnerships and service support. Service support is providing support to services. That comes at a cost. What doesn't sit well with me is potentially forking out hundreds of thousands of dollars of ratepayers' money, if required to support services in regards to gambling, preventing gambling advocacy. By all means, 100% fully supportive as a councillor of advocating against gambling harm reduction. But I'm sorry, I can't support something that opens the potential for a huge financial burden on the ratepayer of Glenorchy and the council to provide service support at a cost. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Alderman Alderton. I cannot comprehend what you have just said on the basis that advocacy costs money, engagement could cost money, partnership may or may not cost money, but anything of any serious amount of money will always come back before this council. There is no way we can spend ratepayers' money just because there's a word that says partner. And I'd like to now remind you that the ABC reported on the 27th of July 2025, that is just a couple of months ago, Glenorchy dubbed the slot machine capital of Tasmania, as Glenorchy amassed almost $5 million in losses, and that is only accounting for the first 3 months of this year. Then Facebook goes on to tell us that Glenorchy has been identified as the Tasmanian local government area, with Glenorchy racking up the $5 million. And that's, wow, high achievers. We're nearly $1 million more than Launceston. And we're $2.5 million ahead of Devonport. And then Pulse, dear old Pulse, the Mayor wants to take action as nearly $5 million was lost. So whether we like it or not, council is being implicated, involved, our citizens are being hurt and affected, and I find it really embarrassing that we're having this conversation after workshops, discussions and all the rest of it to play pedantics on words when they can
They're terrible figures, Mayor. They're terrible figures, but we are not Big Brother. We cannot tell people what to do with their money.
Alderman, I'm speaking. Thank you. At the end of the day, this debate is centred around the word partner. And an implication has been made. We have viewers online, and there's been an implication that the word partner implies we will be committed for big funds. There is nothing in that phrase that says we're committing anything other than time and care and trying to be best practice in local government, like other local governments have been across Australia. As you know, this was modelled on one in Victoria or Sydney, wherever it was. We had extensive conversations with experts who witnessed this arm day in and day out, and like the police force, and like the hospitals, and the suicide preventions, and all the rest of the stuff, the struggling kids who can't go to school because there's no money in the family, witnessing domestic violence, whatever goes on, we know this is a sinister problem. We don't put blame onto the person who has the problem. We want to be there supporting the families and hopefully advocating, engaging and partnering with any organisation that we can to stop this on our watch if at all possible. Now that's our citizens we are talking about. This is our statement of commitment, our promise to this generation of people living in Glenorchy. We will do the best we can within the constraints we've got, being legal and financial, to make life better. And for the life of me, I do not understand how this has all been derailed, but never mind. This is going to be...
Yeah, I've just got a question. That the fact is that while we're talking about this, the question is, we're talking about all gambling, aren't we?
We are talking about all gambling. It's not just slot machines.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kendall.
Thank you. So I'm actually quite happy to see the passion around the table for this, because I think it is an issue that's really close to a lot of people's hearts, and I think, you know, our passion and raised kind of adrenaline is probably showing that. So I think it shows that we do want to be leaders in this space, and I absolutely hear the concerns of my fellow elected members that they don't want to sign us up for something that we can't deliver on or set false expectations. So I think that's a pretty genuine motivation. In terms of this statement, I'm, like Alderman Slade said, really proud to be here and presenting this to the community. I'm really happy that it's best practice and evidence-based, coming out of Victoria, and to my eyes, the stronger the better. And also, whatever money that we incidentally spend, you know, in partnering or advocating, I think all of that money spent would be saved by the pockets of the, you know, into the pockets of the community, which will then be spent in our area. So more than happy to spend a few dollars around the edges. But from my position, the stronger the better. My favourite line in the little intro to this was that it positions the council as a visible, responsible and proactive civic leader on gambling harm. But I like what Alderman King said, which is that it's helping people who need help. So I think it's really powerful, and I'm really proud that we're bringing it to this council. I do have one small question. So I didn't see in the action plan, in the implementation plan, whether we were going to do an action plan. And so my question was, is that still something that we're considering? And maybe that's to the director.
Just through you, Mayor. We haven't pulled together an action plan. What we had felt was it was more in the advocacy and partnership, so trading of information, working together to ensure the messaging is out consistent and in line with best practice as we move forward.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. So I am really happy around the advocacy and engage mouthpieces here. I fully support those, and I fully understand that we as a council have responsibility, and we have had years of being an advocate and engaging with this. What I'd like to know, just a question on, do we have any actions, or have we got any evidence of what we've done in the past in terms of our advocacy and engagement?
Yeah, might have to ask the director.
This is just, sorry, through you, Mayor, off the top of my head, but we have certainly engaged in terms of messaging, in terms of when youth or other vulnerable members of the community make contact to us and may be talking about a gambling issue. We certainly connect them to the services, and we provide that connectivity, and you know, it might be through avenues that they haven't explored. So we're not out there every day doing, you know, gambling harm as our sole facet. What it is one facet of us investing in our community for the future. and trying to reduce the harm that gambling does. We certainly have meetings every so often with Anglicare, Lifeline and the Gamblers Helpline, just to keep in contact about what's happening, best practice, what they're seeing in the community. It informs us, and that way we can also then inform yourselves and our community staff who are out there at the front line.
Just be interesting to know the numbers on the effectiveness of that. So that'd be something hopefully for the future we can gather. That'd be great. So my concern is around obviously, like I amended, just regarding the partnership, and it does say that the line is this. It says partner with community gambling reform organisations and service providers to ensure support services are adequately funded, visible and accessible in our city. My point is that we shouldn't, I'm not sure we are overstepping the line in terms of ensuring support services are adequately funded and visible and accessible. That's not our role. And that's the only part of this commitment that I am not comfortable with. And I'm allowed to be comfortable with it. And I'm allowed to, and I had gone through the same workshops as all of us here. And just because I have a different opinion and a different thought process on it doesn't mean it's any less than everyone else around the table. So my thing here is that the partnering and this line and this effectively commitment, so it's a commitment, is just a little bit off. The rest of it is great. What everyone has said around the table in terms of harm, I think it's, everyone's very passionate about it. Everyone wants to see making sure that people are away from harm as much as possible. So I fully understand all that. I'm fully happy to get in the trenches with Alderman Slade regarding that. But regarding partnering and making sure services the support services are adequately funded, I think that's just a step too far. That's my concern.
May I ask a question of the director? Funding can be in kind.
Certainly through we, for instance, at certain events, we may well have a marquee for them to then be able to make contact with the community, put their messaging out there in terms of gambling harm reduction. And that's purely an in-kind support from us to assist them in delivering their services.
And we also put things on our website at no cost for them.
We support them in grant applications. We put messaging out there. I believe we have notices on doors at times in certain premises.
We put posters and flyers on our website, on our Facebook, I mean.
Yes, and wherever appropriate that we can. Yeah.
Right, so I'm happy with that then, thank you. So it's not a financial commitment per se. Thank you, Alderman.
Thank you, Mayor. Is it possible, or is it too late in this motion to change the wording to partnership and in-kind support? That would sit very comfortably with me and possibly Deputy Mayor.
We've debated the motion as it stands, so you can't change.
Anyway, we can test it on the floor and see how that flies. So if there's no further discussion, who has to sum up? Alderman King?
Thank you, Mayor. Look, I think a linguist is a word, but I'm not a linguist as such, but I'd like to talk about the English language just for a moment. You can dig a well or you can be well. Same word, different meanings. And definitely the Deputy Mayor is correct. In partnership in business, there are consequences, there are financial consequences. In a partnership in cricket, two people can score 100 runs together and one might not make a run and the other might get 100. But you're still a partnership and it takes two to create that partnership. And I believe that that's what we're talking about here in the way of partnership, that we as a council are going to be an advocate and partnering with those suppliers, those people who need our help to assist where people are struggling with gambling. We are not conflicted as a government, as a small government, local government, unlike state or federal that might receive funding from gambling. We're not conflicted because as Alderman, I don't think any of us have been supported by any gambling business to help us get into our positions here. So we're not conflicted. We can stand up and say what we feel and support and advocate and partner with suppliers, those people who can assist those that are struggling. I've witnessed it, like Alderman Slade. I had a friend who had a second-hand business, used to go and buy things off people, and he would come back, this massive big bloke he was, and he'd come back in tears sometimes because he'd bought stuff off people he knew had gambled their money. They told him they had nothing left in the house, no furniture, nothing. Now, that's not everyone, it's not common, but you see things like that and it tears at your heartstrings. We're talking hopefully a small percentage of the community, but if we had to spend any money to help a small part of the community, as Councillor Kendall said, and I had this written down, but she thinks ahead of me, but if we had to spend money, we'd have to approve it first. And I think we would, if it meant a difference to somebody's life, if it meant we could help. But we haven't yet, and if we do, we'll face that when we come to it. So that's my summing up, and away we go.
Thank you very much. Good point. I'm now going to put that to the vote. All those in favour, raise your hand. Thank you. So we have Alderman Stringer, Alderman Kendall, Alderman Marks, the Mayor, Alderman King, Alderman Slade and Alderman Cockshut. And against? Please raise your hand. Thank you. So we have the Deputy and we have Alderman Alderton. So that means it's carried in the affirmative. Thank you. Very interesting debate. Now we're moving on to item 9.1, the Glenorchy Jobs Hub 2025-27 strategic plan. Do I have someone move this, please? Thank you, Alderman Cockshut. A seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Kendall, sorry. Alderman Cockshut, would you like to lead debate?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Look, pardon me. Look, I think this is a very great initiative. We're seeing some really strong results since the Job Hub was established in 2021. Obviously, through partnership with the state government and the council, we've had over 1,700 people placed in jobs across numerous sectors. Retail, hospitality, transport, construction, community services, with over 2,500 people who are registered participants. So overall, then the project has been a big success for getting people into the workforce, those who need a hand, whether it's writing a resume or anything like that. And we're seeing some really strong results and also buy-in from the local community and businesses. So there's about 52 job champions who are local employers within Glenorchy who support inclusive hiring practices, and 20 people have signed the jobs pledge. So overall, I'm very happy with the results, and I think it's been great for the local community, getting people back into the workforce and finding jobs. And I think it's great to see the buy-in from business, right? So overall, a great success. I'm looking forward to seeing it continue for the next couple of years. This is more of a strategic and also a piece where we need to have a plan for the next 2 years to secure the next round of funding for the project. So that's the motion which is in front of us tonight.
Thank you. Deputy?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really glad to see this strategy and the government's evolving and improving, and really showing that we are leading the way in this area, connecting our community to meaningful work and career pathways. It's excellent. So I'm really pleased with this and looking forward to improving our communities.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, Alderman Alderton.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a success story for the Glenorchy City Council and the Glenorchy Jobs Hub, and just reading through the papers and seeing what is achieved, we all should be proud of what we've done, and I'm fully supportive of this motion.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, Councillor Kendall.
Thank you. Yeah, again, as is being said around the table, really proud of the Jobs Hub connection and how that transition's gone. So props to the council management for being involved in that. So my question was around, so the strategic plan is to assure our 2 years of funding tranche. It's sort of a part of our commitments of the Jobs Hub, and it would be great to have 5 years locked in so we could really look to the future in terms of how the strategic plan was going to roll out for the Jobs Hub. The kind of thing I would love to see the Jobs Hub and the council partnering on are things like cadetships. like they do in other local councils, we offer training pathways, which you're doing through the Jobs Hub anyway, to young people, but especially with the Youth Hub, you know, on the horizon for us. Janice is gone. But yeah, wouldn't it be great to offer cadetships in youth work or the kind of jobs that will be engaged in that in the Youth Hub in the future? So I guess my question is that something that could be on the radar for the Jobs Hub?
Thank you.
So I look after, through you, Mayor, I look after the Jobs Hub now, and I have Jobs Hub coordinator with me, Carmel Walpole. Very much so, Councillor Kendall. Sustain, as you would have noticed from the strategic plan, is one of the key pillars. So that's what we'll be doing over the next 2 years, talking very closely, not only with Jobs Tasmania, but the other Jobs Hub in the network, on how we can sustain funding for this very important activity. And Carmen has come on board recently with some really fabulous ideas about how we can better leverage our relationships within council around young people to get those young people into work. And when we co-locate with the Jobs Hub over in the Terry Street building, will enable that even further.
Great, thank you, it's great news.
Thank you. And I might just add that this model is fully endorsed by Senator Tammy Tyrrell, who happened to have been at worked in this sector and understood the variance and nuances of all of the other offerings. And I believe that she is championing very hard to the federal government to make sure this is supported, because it's a much better system of getting people connected to jobs, and if they're not job ready, it's preparing them for work and dealing with their addictions and what other problems they might have before they start a job. And then completely following the loop and making sure they're still in the job, if they need any further help or assistance, etc. So I'm going to go back to Alderman Cocksharp.
I'm happy to sum up debate. I think that's a good conversation around the table, and yeah, back to you.
Thank you. I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. So it's carried. And a lot of information on that Jobs Hub. Right, so we're up to governments. No. Right, so is this 9.2?
Yep.
Yeah. Tasmania Government Pre-Budget Consultation 2026-27, the GCC submission. Who would like to take this one away? Thank you, Alderman Stringer. And a seconder, please. Oh, thank you, Alderman Slade. Right.
So the state government, through you, Mayor, the state government have started their pre-budget consultation, and we're the Glenorchy City Council putting together a submission to outline that key points of funding that we would like to have, and for the bigger plan of the greater regions of Glenorchy as well, to fit in with their plans for their future plan as well. So that's what I'd like to endorse the submission that Glenorchy have put together. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Anyone like to discuss this matter? Yes. Thank you, Deputy.
Yeah, it is really good to see our priority projects front and centre once again, and also a request to look for efficiencies, by going ongoing operation and depreciation models and the share services models. I think they're positive conversations to be having, and reducing planning red tape and improving the grants process. Will be good to put up for discussion for the state budget moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you, Alderman Cocksharp.
Yeah, look, I think it's a clear and concise report, and outlines the priorities of the council and those major projects. I think it's good to have Tolosa Park and the Glenorchy pool, and hopefully this time next year we can swim in the pool, which is great. So cross fingers and toes, nothing goes wrong. But again, we are still chasing the $83.8 million for the full redevelopment of the pool. So not that the state government can give us that, but I think it's still important to keep outlining a message that yes, we had the $5 million, which will give us 5 to 7 years for the pool, but we are fully committed to advocating with key stakeholders and the federal government for the full funding for a full redevelopment of that site. So.
Okay, thank you. So with that, I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Unanimous, thank you. Is there an item 10? Because I seem to skip to 11. No?
There's no reports under environment, so.
Right, so we're going to 11.1, financial performance report to the 31st of October 2025. Who'd like to move this? Thank you, Alderman Stringer. A seconder, please. Thank you, Alderman Slade. Right, Alderman Stringer.
I'd like to move to the financial report there. As you can see, that we're in a favourable position still, but the breakdown actually has it where we're not so favourable in certain areas and more favourable in other areas. And it's a good actually chart that the officers have provided for us as well. So we can clearly see where those areas are. And that's it for myself, Mayor.
Yep.
Open for debate.
Thanks very much. Anyone else like to discuss this issue?
I support the cross-centre recommendation. But it is a lot of these, I've been on boards where you read a lot of these documents, fair income, it's like the chief financial officer's trying to test us or something. These are really easy to read. I really like the variance indicators. They're very, very important to me. And when I went through and read this again yesterday afternoon, it's nice to read a report, and then you can go back and say, I actually think I've absorbed most of this, and fundamentally I have, and truly I have. So from that point of view, that's a reflection on the professional staff we have in the finance area. But more importantly, that particular staff helps us to make those very, very important decisions to create this incredible, I think, is a governance plus model that we've got going here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, just a question regarding the Glenorchy War Memorial update. So I think I asked a question last month before, I can't remember. Just regarding having like a budget and understanding of this is probably what's been provided is probably quite high level. So it's just an overall figure of where we're at. I was just wondering if we can get some more detail regarding that. That was all.
Yeah, budget breakdown.
Yeah, just to, yeah.
Yeah, expenditure on the board today.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can put something in specifically for the pool.
Yeah, I think just going forward, just so we can all have an eye on it, that would be great. Thank you, that's all.
Sorry, through you, Mayor. At the moment, it falls under our major project progress report. So under that graph where you see major project expenditure, it's actually part of that. But I think we can break it down a little bit further.
I just think just trying to be really transparent about everything that's going on. It's obviously quite an interest point for the community as well to be able to see that. I think that would be good to have moving forward. So thank you.
So if it's okay, just a little bit of clarity. You're after a more detailed breakdown of the invoicing?
Well, just if there's some understanding about, just to make sure that the things that we're budgeting for are being paid for in those. So we're not, so I just appreciate that we've got an overall figure, but I'd like to see a little bit more breakdown in terms of just some understanding of line items, if that's possible. If it's not possible, that's fine, but I just think it would be good for a community to see.
Yeah, it is possible. It perhaps might be the other way around, because obviously it's a fixed price contract.
Yes.
So they've been given the sum of the works and a figure to develop that on. So it's not necessarily going to be broken down into, well, we said we'd charge you this for that, and we've done that. And But it's probably more by the exception that you're probably interested in is where the variations have come through.
Maybe. I just want to be able to be really upfront with it. That's all.
And just to reassure anyone online, Director, there's the major projects meeting, and how many other sets of eyes oversight see this particular project?
That's right. We do have the project control group, which obviously you sit on there, and the general manager and a number of other senior staff, which review the project from a governance perspective. But again, that highlights the things that you're probably talking about, where are there risks coming up? Are there variations, unforeseen expenses and the like? So It gives me confidence that they've been very minor to date based on the scale of the project, but we can certainly.
Yeah, sorry, through you, and just in terms of, obviously, we've got a contingency plan there, so like, is that being used, all that sort of thing as well?
Okay, any further discussion? Oh, sorry, councillor Kendall?
Yeah, sure. So just to second what Alderman Slade was saying about the reports, I really love them as well. And I was doing an AICD course and lucky enough to be in the same group as Michael Sokulski, our CFO, and he sort of became a default trainer on the finance and on the finance day. So we really are lucky to have him. So great report. And along the same lines as the question the Deputy Mayor asked, just because there's those tantalising details in there about the pool, have we discovered anything unexpected in the digging up of the ground around the pool? You know, how there was this big question mark, would there be a huge financial blowout?
Like gold or oil.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, look, nothing significant that's worthy of bringing up as a formal report. There was a bit of asbestos piping that was underground, that was small and contained, which was removed, so it didn't end up being a major issue. I think we're talking about the tens of thousands of dollars in terms of overall the sorts of variations that have come through. So I know tens of thousands doesn't sound like it's minor, but it kind of is in the scale of a $6.5 million project. So no, nothing significant today. I'll take that on board to report back on future meetings.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Oh, sorry, a question, thank you, for you, Mayor. It was about the employment cost as well. So it looks like we save money with less employees. Are we underemployed, and does that have a burden on any other employers, not enough people in positions?
Thank you, Director.
Through you, Mayor, we do have certain areas planning where it is hard to recruit. However, mostly what you're seeing is the delay between somebody resigning and being able to hire the replacement, and there is a time frame between there where obviously we're carrying vacancy costs. In general, our vacancy rate is fairly stable. We're around the 14%, which is not too bad, and has certainly dropped significantly from the COVID times where we were up around the 17 to 18%. So what you're mainly seeing is that what we call a vacancy rate, where you have people resign and you're filling their positions.
Thank you.
Okay, Alderman Stringer, are you going to sum up?
Nothing to sum up, Mayor, just put the motion forward.
Thank you. All those in agreement with this recommendation? Thank you. Carried unanimously. Item 11.2 is procurement exemptions. You would like to move this? Councillor Kendall. And a seconder, please. Thank you, Alderman Marks.
Yeah, this is pretty straightforward, just our procurement exemption report, and in this instance, it's for body-worn cameras, data storage and software for enforcement.
Thank you. Any discussion? Well, I'll throw in some gratuitous comments then. I think it's really critical that we do declare anything where we haven't been able to go to tender, and we've clearly explained all the reasons. But this is for a vital piece of equipment for anyone on the front line. Body-worn cameras have proven to be very advantageous in getting someone convicted, but also making someone think twice before they might do something physical and harm one of our employees or contractors. So very happy that that's what this is about. And Councillor Kendall, did you move this one?
Nothing more to say.
No, okay, thank you. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 11.3 is Council and Council Committee meeting dates and times for 2026. And we have a recommendation there. Who would like to move this one? Thank you, Alderman Alderton.
Thank you, Mayor.
I need a seconder first, if that's okay. Thank you, Deputy.
Thank you. This basically just outlines Council's meeting and committee and GPA dates and times for 2026. I will just open it up to the floor now in case anybody's got further comment. They don't agree with the dates or times.
Thank you, Alderman Slade.
Mayor, I may be reading it wrong. I just on page 167, Is that right? Number 14, table 4, proposed Chief Executive Officer's Performance Review Committee meeting date and time for 2025 years, 2025? 2026? Okay, so that follows on with the bit underneath there, correct, right?
Yes.
And we've had a 2025 one done, is that correct?
The committee review date, I think, is underway.
Yes, it's underway.
Okay, so that's underway, and this one here should be 2026. Thank you very much, that's all. Now, can I have a look, speak? Look, Mayor, the only thing I'll just say is, look, it's always been a thing, I think, you know, I look at some more than been around the table, well, I look at you in a nice way, King. But, look, trying to work out, we've had them all, we had meetings at 6 o'clock, we had meetings at 3:30, we had meetings at 4, whatever. And the reality is that now with modern cons with the electronic technology, and also the fact is that having staff, you know, hanging around late at night, I mean, there's got to be a lifestyle for them as well. And I think it's the way it works down Presmo 3:30, revise that lifestyle properly where they can finish work and go home, which is the way it should be. And I think 3:30 is probably the best time, especially with Tasmania's weather. As I said, we've got it always there online. So apart from that, I couldn't see anything different there, man. I agree with it.
And I think following that theme is the advantages that even if you can't watch it that day, you can watch it any time into the future. And in reality, the public cannot participate in much of the council meeting apart from question times. So if they do want to follow up and review the file, they can always put in a question. Okay, so in that case, anyone going to sum up there? Alderman Alderson?
No, put to the vote, thank you.
Okay, all those in favour, just raise your hand. Thank you, carried unanimously. Item 11.4 is notices of motion, questions on notice or without notice. Does anyone have anything? Thank you, Alderman Alderson.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I do have a question. The question is, I've been bombarded with a number of emails in relation to asking me to put up a motion tonight, which I'm not going to, by the way, asking us to separate ourselves from our partnership with Pulse Youth and Health and the Working It Out program, which is being piloted in regards to LGBTQ plus, A+ after school age group 12 to 18-year-old at Glenorchy Health Centre. Now, this has come about by a number of people asking me to put this motion forward because there was some questions asked by Angela Sturt of this council, and she was given a response, and her and several others have reached out to me to say the response they got was unsatisfactory. I asked a question in regards to working it out, actively involved in social and medical transition of children who identify as trans, and this activity is not compatible with GG's statement of commitment in safeguards towards children. I had a look at what their response was and read the reply, and they brought to my attention, I noticed that one of the question has been answered by 2 links and not a written response. So one of the links is broken, page not found, the other link doesn't give a satisfactory answer. So my question is, I've gone back to these people and said, no, I won't support a motion, we're putting a motion up. But I gave them a commitment I would raise it at question time, and I would ask council to consider providing a written response, to go back and revisit Angela Sturt's questions and provide a written response, and hopefully the community better understands.
Yeah, I think if the link's broken, we definitely should look into that and send a correct one. I think the position of this council has always been that Glenorchy City Council has a strong commitment to visibility, respect and inclusion of all people in our community. And there is a need for this service, and that's what council is fulfilling in partnership with other organisations.
I just feel a written response will go a long way to putting a lot of fires out.
And I accept that.
Council would consider that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions, motions? No.
Move we go to close council meeting.
Yes, and we have some formula for that, isn't it? We close the close and move into the, we close the open and move into the close.
Yes.
And we'll also have a 5-minute recess. So we will have to ask our special guest to leave the council. Thank you.
Just before we do on that, I've just been notified that the links were provided by Angela Sturk. They were her links.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that for some reason they don't work, well, I've gone look at them, so.
I believe it's the link to the council report,
The previous
yeah,
council
which is
meeting.
tricky because you link it and then as the agenda moves to the next one, that link's not working, but you can clearly tell the agenda that she's referring to.
We can try and, Mayor, we'll try and clarify though the questions.
Yeah,
and the
right.
answers to them. So,
Yes. So I'm just going to put that motion that we're closing the open and opening the closed. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Bye, Eddie. And thank you to everyone watching. I hope you've enjoyed today's council meeting and thank you for watching and we hope to see you again soon.